Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is the Uncanny X-Men number 180, the final book on the path to Secret Wars. And man, uh, I'm just gonna get it out right here. I love this book. This book is definitely on my list for some like I don't know if I would put it in the top 10, but if I ever had a list of underrated Uncanny X-Men issues, this would be one of them. And mainly it's because it's Chris Claremont writing character monologue and dialogue at its best. It's fantastic. Great cover right here. We open up. So this is the era of John Romita Jr. Drawing the Uncanny X-Men, and it's kind of art-wise, it's an interesting era. John Romita Jr. is either really hot or really cold in a lot of these issues. Sometimes he's really good and sometimes he really sucks. Most of the time he was really good, but every once in a while he'd have these issues where I was like, dude, did you just like crap this out in like 5 minutes? But this is an awesome splash page. Here's Professor Xavier getting ready to drop some dimes on people. We get through this nice narration. So Professor Xavier, this is he's gained the ability to walk again. So this is after the Brood saga, and he's kind of enjoying himself, doing some basketball tricks and whatnot until he misses one. He gets a huge psychic attack, and he has to stop and scream out in pain. And Storm shows up to help him out. Great freaking dialogue. It's great back and forth right here. This is like, so again, many have probably seen a video by your boy Zach kind of ripping on Claremont while explaining why Jim Lee kind of left Marvel. I kind of took exception to that just because, yeah, Chris Claremont can be really wordy, but sometimes he can make some dialogue that's just fucking awesome. The dialogue in here just moves like silk. It's really, really good. So here you have some reflections back and forth between Xavier explaining, his background of having been an athlete and why he stopped being an athlete because his powers made it unfair. Storm kind of relating in the same way with her weather abilities. And then they kind of reach a moment here where she kind of has a moment of reflection, noting that Kitty really does not like what happened to her. So Storm has recently changed her look. She used to have the classic John Byrne look, which I love. But the 80s punk rocker Storm, it's kind of grown on me the more and more I read and reread these issues. So I don't mind it so much. I would still say the John Byrne Storm is my favorite. But yeah, so they go back and forth, and she's kind of realizing that she's changing as a person. She's not who she was. And this is kind of the beauty of the Storm written by Chris Claremont. She is a transformative character. She used to be sort of like a goddess, and now she's just more, much more darker now. She nearly killed someone a couple issues ago. And, Xavier's kind of giving her some help. She's kind of looking in her mind, and she's like, hey, you don't have any mental illnesses. This is just you. You kind of have to figure out, what you want to do, but you. So, kind of go for it. Just great back and forth between these two characters. We join Kitty and Doug in the mall. This is before Doug joins the New Mutants. And she actually breaks an arcade game, and the owner kicks her out. And then her and Doug kind of joke around a bit. They have some lunch at a McDonald's, and they go back and forth. And it's kind of inferred here that Doug is really into Kitty. At the time, Kitty though is still with Colossus, so you get some kind of really nice drama right here. Very soap opera-y, but the way Chris Claremont executes it, it's much more subtle. So you kind of like it's the illusion of it, and it's just it's fantastic. Some of the faces here by John Romita Jr. are pretty good. I don't like this so much, but these faces are fantastic. So, little subplot here. Kitty Pryde is getting sent over to a university, and that is run by, or Doug is getting sent to a school run by the White Queen, and she's kind of worried for him. We jump to another scene, and here's Colossus. He's recovering from a fight against the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, chopping down a tree. Here's Wolverine kind of sharing a beer with them, and they kind of have a back and forth here because Colossus is kind of frustrated. He can see that Doug is kind of wooing Kitty Pryde, and he's realizing as a Russian, living in America, he really doesn't have a lot to relate to Kitty compared to Doug. and he's starting to get very jealous. And here, Logan's kind of giving him the breaks right here, telling him to man up or deal with it. We get another just great monologue. Look at all these narration boxes. This is fantastic, by the way. It's winter in New York. Storm's going into a greenhouse, and it's reminding her of Africa and her home and how much she misses it. And you get some introspective of Storm looking back on when she used to have plants in her room at the X Mansion. Some bums try to mug these elderly couple, and then Storm proceeds to just kick their ass. You got this. Oh, this is a great panel, by the way. Simple panel, but very effective. She just freaking takes these guys. Doesn't even have to use her powers. She just beats the crap out of these guys, and then uses her lightning to scare them off. And then she comes to a realization the old couple are actually just more scared of her than the bums. So pretty crazy. We get back to the X Mansion. Kitty's worried about Doug, so she decides that she's going to join Doug and just keep an eye on him. And if she sees the White Queen, she'll call Professor Xavier and the X-Men. And it's kind of her plan that she's proposing. And amazingly, so here Professor Xavier reveals Doug is a mutant, which surprises Kitty. And in addition to that, he asked Storm for her opinion. And amazingly, Storm actually approves the plan, even though she has reservations, which is very different from what she used to be. She used to be very protective of Kitty. So Kitty walks out, and she's kind of like monologuing about herself and thinking about Doug. And she gets freaking sucked right out the freaking mansion and up to where Storm is. And she's at first kind of pissed, like, what the hell's going on? And then Storm is like, hey, we need to talk. Like, I'm kind of tired of your freaking attitude and your bitchiness about me changing my look. And, Kitty's kind of being a spoiled brat right now. Like, well, why are you changing? And around this time, Kitty Pryde's parents also divorced, so it's kind of affecting her on that level. It's like, why are you changing? Why are you doing all this stuff? I thought, we were friends. I thought, da-da-da-da-da. I think of you as my mother, all this other stuff. And Storm pretty much grabs her and it's like, hey, look, I'm not your mom. I'll always be your friend, but I'm not your freaking mom. And the dialogue here is freaking amazing. Like Kitty's like, don't you love me? And she's like, with all my heart. But you have other demands on your heart. You're loved, do you not? You take such freedom for yourself. Why do you deny it to me? We each have our own lives to live, our own roads to walk to our individual destinies. Friends and lovers may walk by our side, but ultimately the journey is made alone. I am learning things about myself I do not like, but I must keep learning, striving to find my true self, my place in the scheme of things. I must know who I am, and I must live my life as I see fit. Oh man, this is freaking, the dialogue by Chris Claremont's so freaking good in this issue. So you get this kind of coming to terms. Kitty accepts Storm changing and that Storm is kind of figuring herself out. At the same time, Storm is not unsympathetic. She's still there for Kitty. So she gets sent off, goes on an airliner, finds out she gets immediately trapped by the White Queen, and we're left on a cliffhanger. On the other side, Professor Xavier asks the X-Men to drive to Central Park. They go to this nice little alien arena, and they get sucked into Secret Wars. And that's pretty much it. Fantastic issue. Amazingly enough, if you think about it, not a lot really happens, but the dialogue and the character buildup is so good that you don't even realize it when you're reading through this issue. It's freaking amazing. I freaking love these issues. This and like Life, Death, and all the others. They're not really the classic sort of compressed style in that Chris is trying to jam as much action as he can into it. It's really, Professor Xavier and Storm or Storm talks to Professor Xavier while he's playing basketball. Logan talks to Peter while he's chopping a tree. Kitty and Doug get kicked out of an arcade and then go to McDonald's. Storm kicks the crap out of some bums while she's at the greenhouse, and then Storm, Xavier, and Kitty agree for a plan for Kitty to go take an eye on Doug. Storm sucks Kitty up into the skies to have a talk with her. They drop Kitty off at the airport, and then they get sucked into Secret Wars. Actually, a lot did happen. Well, not a lot of action, I should say. Yeah, just, oh man, I freaking love this issue. So, how did I do? Well, how about the cover? Not bad. I haven't done a cover in any of these videos that I've done so far. And when I saw this and I went through it, there were a lot of panels that I liked, but a lot of them were like really simple. And I felt for this book, since I loved it so much, I should just do the cover, and I think it'll work. Now, I didn't do the backgrounds because I don't really have that much time, but I did do the sweep right here. Very interesting. I kind of question John Romita Jr.'s hand over here, and I ended up changing it to make more sense, because the hand's just freaking gigantic in this image. It's actually, this hand's really big too. And then I ended up not, because I'm not a colorist, right? So I ended up just leaving flashes with my ink brush to get this going. Kitty Pryde's face I changed a little bit, but for the most part, man, this ended up really good. I don't know if it's because I really wanted to put a lot of effort into it, but yeah, man, not bad at all. Anyhow, thank you all you who've been watching so far in this series. It's been a lot of fun going through these individual issues and just really getting a huge slice of the 80s Marvel, right? I will do Secret Wars in a while. Probably will be doing some non-Marvel for a good chunk, just because there's plenty of Teen Titans and European comics, Judge Dredd, manga, Berserk, JoJo's, One Piece, that I gotta take care of for a while and give everybody a little bit of a break from Marvel for a bit. But we will return for Secret Wars. But yeah, this is just good. Just, oh, good. Anyhow, that's the video. Let me know how if you liked it. If you did, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. If you got any comments on Uncanny X-Men 180 or this art piece, please leave them down below. And I will see you next time.